Hey, how's it going? My name is Emily, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Lily half circle skirt pattern. It's super easy. You're only going to need to know your waist measurement. And once you know that, it's a super quick sewing pattern, and I'm going to show you all the steps. So, if your New Year's resolution included something like buying less fast fashion, or buying clothes that are gonna last, or buying things that actually fit your body or making them, then you're in the right spot. So I'm going to show you how to make the skirt right now.
So the first step is to print out the pattern and make sure everything's to scale. And then once you align it like this, you're going to find your waist measurement, and that number you'll find at the top, and you'll cut along the same number along the bottom as well, and then the same number for the waistband. Here, I'm gonna show you that I folded my fabric the opposite way that it normally comes in. Usually it's a bit more narrow, and that doesn't really work for this pattern. So, I've taken my selvages and I've actually folded them on top of each other, and I have a fold at the bottom of my fabric instead of kind of along the side. So it gives me a larger piece of fabric to work with. So now I'm putting my fabric down using some weights and cutting it out, making sure that my fabric is along the fold there. So we have one large piece of fabric that is our skirt. And then I'm cutting out my waistband over here, but it's pretty tricky to cut a nice straight waistband when the pattern is narrow like this. So I actually decided that I prefer to use my rotary cutter and a ruler to cut out my waistband instead. So here I am doing just that, cutting out my waistband, making sure that you have two. You definitely need to have two. Now that I have nice and straight pieces, I'm going to put the right sides together of my waistband, just like this. And then you need to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So now that you've sewn that one edge, you're going to push the seam allowance down to one side, and you're going to stitch about 1/8 away from the seam that we just made. So you're kind of attaching the seam allowance to one side, and from the outside, this is how it looks. This is called understitching. It keeps our lining from showing when we're wearing our piece. So this is the waistband. Now it has understitching, so it's ready to go. Go grab your skirt piece. And now we're going to be putting the right side of the waistband to the right side of the skirt, matching at the middle. So just so you can see, the understitched side is above and the side with nothing is below. We're attaching the side with nothing to the skirt right now. So just find the middle and make sure to pin all the way around the waist. I love using these little clips. I find them a little bit faster and more fun than using your standard straight pins. So then you just need to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance to attach the waistband to the skirt. Our understitched side is towards the top. Everything's attached. Now we're going to be looking at the inside for a clearer view. So you can see here, we're going to push that seam allowance up towards the top of the skirt, which I know looks like the bottom, but towards the top of the waistband here. Bring your skirt over to the iron and press this top edge a 1/2 inch down. This is going to make the next step easier. Now that I've pressed it, I'm folding my skirt waistband in half, and I'm pushing up that seam allowance, folding over my waistband, and making sure that it extends about 1/8 of an inch past the previous stitches that we just made to attach the waistband to the skirt. Make sure that they cover the stitches. And then I'm actually going to be using straight pins for this because it's impossible to use those handy dandy little claw clips for this. Just pin all the way around, making sure that you are covering that previous stitch line with the waistband. Here I'm just re-emphasizing you need to cover those stitches, otherwise the next step won't work. So then you're going to be looking at the outside of our skirt and you're going to be stitching in the ditch, that previous stitch that we made to attach the waistband. Once you do that, it looks like that, and then I finished the edges here with a zigzag stitch of where we're going to attach the zipper. If you have a serger, that's even better. And then I've also shortened my zipper because it was so long. I just sewed at the bottom, and then I chopped off the bottom, and that stitch line now works as my zipper end point. So now we have our waistband attached, we have those edges serged or zigzag stitched, and now I'm just showing you how visually to lay out the zipper, just to give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like. We want the right side of the zipper to be touching the right side of the skirt fabric. So it can be a little tricky to attach an invisible zipper, like some mental gymnastics, but if you go step by step, I'm sure you can do it. So first step, unzip that zipper, flip it around so that the right side of the zipper is facing the right side of the skirt. Here we're looking at the right side because the zipper pull is on the outside. If you flip it around, this is the wrong side of the zipper. I'm going to place the zipper where the teeth are at the very top, and there's going to be a little piece hanging over, and that's totally normal and what we're going to be doing for this zipper. So then you just want to make sure that the zipper teeth are facing away from the edge and that side without teeth is touching the edge of the skirt. And you need your invisible zipper foot. Swap that out for your regular foot. We're going to be using the left groove to sew this zipper on. So once you get the zipper in that groove, it should go really smoothly. But just to help things along, it's nice to use your pointer finger to roll the zipper teeth and make sure that they're not getting caught. And then when you can't go any further, just back tack. And now we have one side perfectly sewn up. Zip the zipper up. And then we need to match the right side of the skirt to the right side of the zipper again. And to do this, I like to kind of fold the fabric how it's going to be once it's sewn. And I like to pin that very top area in place. Once that's pinned, you can see that the right side of the fabric is touching the right side of the zipper. And we have that little excess zipper tape at the top that don't have any teeth, and that's totally okay. We'll deal with that later. Unzip your zipper. And now it's going to be easy to see how you need to flip your zipper just a teeny bit, twist it, make it lay flat, making sure again that the zipper teeth are facing away from the edge. That's how you can confirm that you are putting it on correctly. So just pin as far as you can. And then just to confirm with yourself or to make yourself feel like you're doing it correctly, it's nice to flip it inside out and see that, oh look, everything is lining up. We're using the pins in place of actually sewing it just as a test. Looks like everything's good to go, nothing's twisted, and we just bring that back to our sewing machine and we're gonna back tack to start. And then you just roll again with your pointer finger. We're in the right groove this time. And there you go, you just sail down the side, making sure that the zipper is aligning with the edge. And then when you can't go any further, back tack and then take it out. Now you have a perfect invisible zipper in your skirt. And now we just need to deal with the bottom of the area of the zipper. This area is not complicated. All you need to do is flip the skirt inside out, match those sides together, and then you need to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once you get to the area that the zipper was sewn, you need to make sure you sew over a few of those stitches so it's reinforced and that you've closed up that entire seam. Here I'm just chopping off the top of the zipper. You can do it a more professional way, which would be folding it down and tacking it by hand. I was feeling a bit lazy, I guess, this day, so I'm just chopping them off, but whatever works for you. You can't even see it, so you're good as gold. Now I'm doing the hem, which can be a little tricky with a circle skirt, so I recommend doing it in steps. So the first step is to fold up just 1/4 inch and stitch that down. So you're going to go all the way around the skirt. And then the next step is to fold it again up 1/4 of an inch and sew it again. I found this method really helps me prevent bubbles. You're going to end up with a double stitch kind of on the inside, but on the outside you will only see one stitch line. So I really like this method and found it's really helpful. So there it is, you're all done and you've finished your skirt. I hope you're super proud and it fits you perfectly and you're ready to go wear it out. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or if you're excited about your next project, let me know what that is. All right, thank you for watching and hope to see you around here soon.